Hi friends, my name's Emma and I live and travel in my minivan. I am an outdoor enthusiast and a camper and a hiker, and I really like to spend a lot of time outdoors. Lately there have been some things happening behind the scenes that may really negatively impact our ability to access and use our public lands in the capacity that they have been available to us for our lifetimes. Frankly, I have not seen enough outdoorsy, nomadic, camping, van life type content creators talking about this on YouTube, so I just wanted to talk about it. So if you've been paying attention to the news, which I don't blame you if you haven't been, this is not me yelling at you. If you've been paying attention, a lot of federal employees have been getting fired from their jobs. And today I want to talk about one sect of people who have been fired and what that could mean for our public lands and people who enjoy them. On February 14th, 3,400 National Forest employees were fired from their jobs. In addition to that, 2,200 employees from the Department of the Interior, so stuff like the United States Fish and Wildlife, the U.S. Geological Survey, the Bureau of Land Management, which manages and maintains a lot of the free camping that you see in my videos, that's all BLM land. A lot of these people have been fired, and these mass firings were conducted under Executive Order 14210, wherein the Department of Government Efficiency, which is being run by a billionaire that nobody elected, laid off an absolute crap ton of federal workers to reduce unnecessary government spending. Now, let's talk about who these former employees are and what they did. A lot of the people who were fired were probationary employees. And when I look this up, I see a lot of crap on the internet, people being like, oh, they were just noobs. Those were noobs. We didn't need them anyway. Why were they even there? They weren't even doing anything. And that's blatantly wrong. So I want to talk about what a probationary employee is. A probationary employee, in regards to the National Forest Service, is somebody who has been seeking a full-time position with the National Forest Service and is currently in the probationary period of their employment. That probationary period doesn't last 30 days, it doesn't last 60, 90 days even, it doesn't last 6 months, not even a year. That probationary period lasts for 2 years. 2 years, okay? Also worth noting is that this probationary period is conditional, meaning if you get a promotion or if you take on another role underneath the National Forest Service, your probationary period is reset, meaning that you could have, say, 5 years of experience under your belt, but because you got a couple promotions, you changed roles a couple times, you could still be in your probationary period. Probationary employees play a vital part in making sure that our public lands are safe, clean, and accessible to the public. They clean and maintain recreational areas, they issue permits, they provide information to visitors, and they also uphold the safety of the wildlife and the public. So let's say you don't care about the recreational bit. That's whatever. Forest Service employees do a whole lot more than just maintain recreational areas. National Forest Service employees also play a huge part in mitigating and preventing wildfires. Now, you may have heard that, oh no, firefighters weren't fired. That would be crazy. Which it is. However, firefighters are not the only people who are involved in wildfire management and especially prevention. Firefighters need people to just be generally supportive and to provide equipment and resources and food and camping materials for firefighters, and that's what a lot of these probationary employees did. A lot of probationary employees also conducted prescribed burns, and if you don't know what a prescribed burn is, it's basically where you burn all of the wood all of the dead wood in a forest to prevent a wildfire from showing up later and being a lot more devastating because it's uncontrolled. Also, a lot of wildfires are started by, campfires that are unattended, and probationary employees are usually the ones that are going around and drowning unattended campfires, so there's that too. Now let's talk about the impact of the loss of these employees. Without these employees present, we are going to see underkept trails, trail closures, park closures, and national monument closures. If the parks don't close, then they're going to be a lot more undermanaged. The lines to get in are probably going to be a lot longer. There may be closed amenities within the park. There'll be closed campgrounds within the park. There will be no trash collection or sewage maintenance, which means blown out pit toilets. But most scarily, there may be little to no search and rescue or emergency medical services for people in the park. So if you get stuck out there somewhere, if you twist your ankle out on the Highline Trail, if you get stuck at the bottom of Angel's Landing in the Grand Canyon, you may just be stuck there. And all of that sucks for us as enjoyers of these places and as visitors to these places. But you know who else that sucks for? The local communities who rely on money generated from tourism to these places. In 2023, national parks alone generated $55.6 billion to local economies surrounding these national parks. They also supported 415,000 jobs in 2023 alone. So if these areas see closures due to understaffing and undermanagement, that is quite devastating to the local communities economically. Now, so far we have only been talking about the employees who were fired from these positions and their impact on our federal lands and what that may look like on our federal lands moving forward. But now I want to talk about some very concerning orders put out by the Department of the Interior, order number 3417 and 3418, which states that the U.S. is currently in an energy emergency and that in order to unleash American energy, we need to facilitate the generation of domestic energy resources and critical minerals, including but not limited to on federal lands and the outer continental shelf. In short, they want to drill and mine our federally protected areas. They want to drill and mine and sell these areas to private drilling companies to provide energy for the American people, even though, according to the EIA, the United States has been the largest producer of crude oil for the last 6 years. How much more do we need? According to DOI Order 3418, they want to prioritize reducing barriers to the use of federal lands for energy development and offer more parcels of the public land for oil and gas leasing. So, in short, they just want to impose actions to make it easier for billionaires to gut our land for money. Now, they say that they're going to do this in a way that's knowledgeable of the environmental impact, but in the same document, they list all of the regulations that they want to suspend, revise, or rescind to make their energy dreams come true. Here is that list. In case you can't tell, these are all regulations put in place by the previous administration to conserve and protect our public lands. So you tell me if they really care about the environmental impact of continued drilling and mining. In response to these scary orders put out by the Department of the Interior, the National Parks Conservation Association put out a press release using data from the Department of Energy to predict what national monuments are the most at risk for drilling and mining. Here is that list. And here are some pictures of what these beautiful places look like right now, because they may not look like that in the coming years. I cannot say exactly what the future holds for our public lands. Nobody really knows. But it's taken continued effort to conserve and to protect our public lands. And I think this is a time where we all need to be a little bit more vocal to protect what we love. It's always taken effort to protect these places, and it will continue to take effort to keep them available for us. So what can you do? Well, as of right now, in February 2025, these places are still open and available. You can still visit them. I don't know for how long you'll be able to visit them. And if you do visit them, they may be critically understaffed. But you can still go out and recreate. But it is more important now than ever to follow leave no trace principles, pick up your trash. If you can, bring a garbage bag and pick up other people's trash that came before you, because these places are going to need our help to stay clean and accessible. If you want to be more active, you can sign petitions. I have a bunch of petitions in the description down below for specific issues that we've covered over the course of this video. But even better than petitions is calling your representatives. There's a link in the description to find your representatives and their contact information. And if you want to do more than that, then you can always volunteer. You can go to your local BLM office or ranger station and see what volunteering positions they have available. If anything I've said to you today has made you upset, if it struck a chord with you, if you are at all angered by the moves that this administration has made to strip away our public lands, then please consider making your voice heard, and hopefully I'll see you out on the road on beautiful BLM land like this someday. I would also like to thank YouTuber Alana Roby for inspiring me to make this video. She also made a video talking about these issues. She shared a lot of great resources in her video, and I used a lot of talking points that she discussed in her video. And she's also hosting a donation-based yoga class wherein all of the proceeds will be donated to the National Parks Conservation Association. That is going to be this Friday, February 28th. The link to that is in the description if you want to check that out. Now, I don't know how to do yoga, but I also wanted to be able to give back to the people who are out there doing the Lord's work, conserving and protecting these treasured locations that I have come to love. So I will also be donating all of the proceeds from this video to the National Parks Conservation Association. So with all that being said, please take care, please stay safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.